Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris and our goal here on this channel is to give you the best information that you need to be able to have the best life possible with your dog. Now in this video we're going to talk about boarding facilities, questions to ask and what to look out for. So that way you can make sure that when you go on your vacation or there's those times when you need to take your dog to be babysat by somebody else, you're able to go with the correct information necessary to make it be as pleasurable and successful as possible. So let's get right into it. Now, I like to know what exactly they're going to be providing for my dog. And if there's extra charges included in that, I'm not a big fan of that, because essentially what they're saying is if something comes up and they have to give my dog extra care because my dog may require it, then I have to pay extra, but they're not necessarily going to let me know that in the process of me being gone on my vacation or something. So I want to know that if I take my dog to a place, that they're going to get all the special care that they individually need, because we all know old dogs may need medications, or you might have supplements for your dogs, or maybe you have a young puppy that needs to be fed more than once, twice, or 3 times a day. They should be willing and already have it in their structure that each dog gets the individual care that it needs. So again, we've mentioned food and we mentioned supplements, but what about going to the bathroom? If we want to make sure that our dogs are living in a clean environment, we shouldn't have to pay for them to be potted more than once or twice a day. I would say that the average dog, average adult dog, should be potted a minimum of 4 times a day. Morning, late morning, midday, and at night. Now, if you have a puppy, and say that that puppy is 3 months old, 4 months old, and you have to take it to a boarding facility, they should be set up to where they're able to take your dog out every hour if necessary, in order to promote the going to the bathroom outside and making sure that they stay clean. That shouldn't be on you to have to pay for that extra care, because they're willing to do what it takes to give your dog the care that it needs. Now that covers in a way kind of the finance of your dog staying there. Now let's talk about safety issues and questions that I'm always going to want to know the answers to. And the first question I start off with is cleaning. How often do they clean? Is it once a day, 2 or 3 times a day? Or is it once a week? Or is it once every 3 days? This is important information to know. And then 2, what do they clean with? Is it bleach? Because bleach does get everything clean, but it can also, if it's not done right, it can be an irritant to your dog's eyes, nose, and skin. So we have to be aware of that. We want to know that they're using products. They're a natural product that still cleans and gets the bacteria out of there and kills it, but yet it doesn't have a negative effect on your dog. Another thing I'm going to want to know is, what do the runs look like? Are they chain link dividers, or are they sheet metal dividers, or dividers that keep dogs from being able to interact through the fence? That's not only important for keeping cross-contamination from happening, but that's also to stop dogs from fence fighting or a tail getting through when they're sleeping and having the other dog grab it, or even worse, chew on it. But again, is this kennel geared towards the safety and well-being of your dog and eliminating every possibility? So let's go into some more of those. There's going to be kennels that accept and board dog-aggressive dogs. How do they guarantee that that dog-aggressive dog isn't going to get to yours? Do they have double locks? Do they have tops over the run so the dog can't jump out or climb out and get into yours? These are all things that we want to think about as well. Another one may be, while your dog is in the run, what do they have in there with it? Now, a boarding facility can be stressful for dogs, and one of the things that dogs may do in order to handle that stress or release that stress is chew on things. Is there bedding in there that they may not normally chew on at home, but they chew on here, where they're end up consuming, and now you're running the risk of the fibers and the bedding getting in their system and causing a blockage, or threads wrapping around their intestines. One of the things that I look for and what I ask is, do they use Kuranda beds? The Kuranda bed is one of the safest beds you could ever use at a boarding facility. I personally want to know if they use those, so that way I'm not having to worry about is my dog chewing on something and consuming it to where I end up having a vet bill or worse after I take my dog home? Now, the next thing I'm going to want to know is, how often is the facility manned? Do they have employees that are staying there with the dogs throughout the whole day? And then if so, what do those hours consist of? Is it from a 7 in the morning till a 4 or 5 in the afternoon? Then if that's the case, how do they know that the dogs are safe through 5 o'clock until all the way to 7 o'clock the next morning? Do they have video cameras to where they're able to see what's going on? These are, again, things that are important. If they do have employees there throughout the day and it's a facility that allows dogs to play with other dogs, during that playtime, is there somebody always out there with those dogs? Because whether they leave collars on or collars off, which I recommend the collars off so you don't have dogs getting hooked on stuff or another dog chewing the collar off your dog, these are all the different type of things that I want to know, because in the blink of an eye you could end up having an issue. It may never happen, but it's still a possibility, and we want to eliminate those as much as possible. Another thing I want to know is, do they require everybody to have their dogs up to date with their shots and immunizations? Now, when it comes down to the kennel cough, there's actually the Bordetella shot. There's actually different thoughts on that. I will say this: if a facility requires the Bordetella shot, which I would say 99.9% of them will, the very best way to keep your dog safe in that aspect is to make sure that your dog has that shot at a minimum of a week before you drop the dog off. And the reason why is because when you get that shot and you're a last minute type person, you get your dog in, you give them the shot, now that actually puts stress on their immune system because it's instantly forced to try to build to fight the Bordetella virus. When you take your dog to a new facility, that's going to create a certain amount of stress that in turn is going to naturally drop their immune system anyways. And so your dog actually has a higher % chance of developing or getting kennel cough, all because you waited to the last minute. And last but not least is, do they allow strangers or you to walk through their facility? Now, the reason why this is important to know is because, one, you now know if they do allow people to walk through the facility to check it out, you now know strangers are going to be walking by your dog. There's a good chance that they're going to see where your dog's at, what run it's in, and they're going to be able to see what the facility is like. If they have bad intentions on maybe going to get a dog, now they know what the setup looks like. I'm not a fan of a facility that just allows people to walk through the facility, but that's not the only other reason. Another reason is because when strangers walk through a place, and we all know this when our dogs are at home and they see strangers, majority of dogs bark, or a lot of dogs bark. So if you have a dog that has a weaker nerve structure or is already stressed when it comes down to going to the boarding facility, now when a stranger walks through and the place erupts in barking and yipping, that noise level creates even more stress for your dog, when it can absolutely be avoided by boarding facilities not allowing people to walk through it, but having available pictures that they can see of what the facility looks like. Or maybe they can have live camera footage like CCTV or something like that, where they're able to still satisfy that curiosity of how that kennel facility is set up in order for them to feel comfortable leaving the dog there. So if you have any other ideas or questions or things or experiences that you've had at boarding facilities, please let us know in the comment, so that way others can also learn from other people's experience. So again, I hope you were able to get something from this. If you have any questions, let me know, and I wish you all a great day. Thanks. Bye.